anybody can get it, you feel me? Chidi Njokuani!
Kids like us, man, outcasts and underdogs, they can never take this from us.
Welcome to UFC Unfiltered.
Please tell me that's on video. I've never been happier.
I'm made for a fucking podcast. We're dangerous. Listen to me, we're at it.
Welcome to UFC Unfiltered. I am once again out of sorts, not home at the Sirius Studios because I'm having major construction in my house. Very frustrating. Today we have Chidi Njokuani is joining us. I think that's his first time. He's a middleweight fighter, as everybody knows, fighting against Gregory Rodriguez on Saturday night. And I believe this is his first appearance on the show. And then Andre Fili is coming back. We'll have him in a little while.
And Andre Fili is an old friend of the show and also a comic book fan.
Yeah.
Like, don't you smirk, you little mother.
I'm not.
Hey, blink if you think that's corny. You motherfucker.
Well, I always blink. That's a bad thing to tell me to do. I blink a lot anyway.
I shouldn't have said blink. Jimmy, how are you, Jimmy? I want to talk to Andre Fili. He also did the Adam Hunter's stand-up comedy thing. Jimmy.
I know he did, and I'm kind of curious to what he thought of it, and what if you're getting laughs, it's very addicting.
Yes, you don't think I know?
Of course, you're the dad joke champion, according to your mug. How could you not?
Hey, I break this thing out to get me in the zone when we're doing this show. But he has something in common. He did stand-up comedy with you. He fought in a cage like me, and he likes comics like me.
Yeah.
If he liked penises, he'd be like you also. He would have a lot in common with both of us.
Well, there'd have to be a dress on them.
Well, listen, everybody's got a type. Jimmy,
I'm just well-rounded. Yes, buddy.
Hey, I first of all, and you don't have to answer this, Jake the Mighty Ginger, our new producer. I like what he's doing with our new rundown sheets.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier, sure.
A little bit. I'm a simpleton, a lot easier. Because I'll watch fights and I'll be like, wait. And if it's a new fighter, I'll be like, what's his face again? And so he's giving us this. He's doing it very professional.
No, but for me, these are being
over.
printed out. Like normally I'll work off the computer screen. Not that the audience gives a shit. Matt's doing drugs. I will normally, normally I'll work off my computer screen and flip through and have Wikipedia and all that stuff. But I just got back to work and it's all printed. So I got to rifle through papers. I feel like one of those assholes on a sports desk when they run out of things to say on the evening news. Hey, the Giants are playing this Sunday, and they do that, and that's the end of the segment. I hate it. Yes, sir.
I hear you. No, I hear you. But he does make it easy. So I do appreciate that. This new relationship with our new producers so far going swimmingly. It
is, yeah. And I'm in a little bit of pain. My nose is bothering me a little bit today. I had that surgery a few weeks ago, but today it's really bugging me. I'm in a bit of discomfort for some reason. And I saw a giant water bug cockroach in my fucking house again last night. It's driving me crazy, these things.
Man, I had to get Terminex from my school. I had some ants at the front door. So people would like throw out some like food in the garbage and ants would be all over there. What the fuck?
The Terminex, is that a company?
Oh, yeah. It's a fucking, it's like a,
Did they help?
Yeah, they sprayed the front door. Nothing came back. They said at this time of year, I know this is very fascinating for our listeners, but at this time of year in New York, like the change of the weather, they start to try to come inside these fucking ants. But anyway, listen, we're breaking out all the fucking news right now. Jimmy, we're easing into it. But really quick, before we get Chidi in. Chidi.
Yeah.
I love that name. 5 contracts given out on the
yes, all 5
date of the Dana White Contender Series season 6. And let me just tell you really quick, I was impressed with a lot of people, but I really was. It was a dominant. I'm gonna. It's on backwards. I'm sorry. I'm reading from the down. All right. Sorry, I'm looking at the order it came in. Daniel Marcos, dominant win over Brandon Lewis. It was 30-27 on all cards, and just dominant and and it looked like he was getting a little tired at the end. And to Brandon Lewis's credit, he was stalking him. But what I liked about Marcos is he was leading him. Like, it looks like he's going almost not running, but circling on the bike, and he'd stop on a dime and land a fucking right hand and a left hand. I mean, he was picking his shots. He showed his skill. And very emotional on the mic when he's talking about getting the contract and his family and stuff and what it would do for them and him able to see his family. And it was nice. It's beautiful stuff. But somebody listen, I was impressed by everybody I seen fight. But this girl, Bruna Brazil from Brazil, wow, Jimmy, she looked amazing. And I'll tell you what I liked about her fight versus Marnik Man, who was she undefeated before this, Marnik? I believe she was.
Well, she's 5-1-0, so yeah.
Yeah, so that's her record now.
Yeah, she's 5-0.
She was undefeated. Okay, I'm just making sure.
I believe so, yeah.
Before, okay. Bruna started the fight off with a body kick, and Man was a little square, to be honest. She was a little square, so that makes her more of a target, which the great Laura Sanko was pointing out. Laura Sanko she's a good commentator.
Yeah.
She sees a lot, that girl. But yeah, so she kicked her with a kick to the body to start things off, and it kind of set the tone for the fight. Like, she got hurt. She almost turned the back. She was like, ooh. And it was in the solar plex. It wasn't in the liver. It was weird. But it hurt her. So then, Jimmy, throughout the fight, Bruna Brazil is showing a well-rounded skill set, stalking her, landing these kicks, whether it's body, leg punches. Then we saw a ground game. She's on top, and she got a beautiful reversal with a butterfly hook to get on top of Man when Man finally got it down. And to finish things off, she did a high kick that ended a kick to the face, where it just looked like you could, if you want to get in to the UFC through the Dana White Contender Series, I don't think there's a better way to do it than the way she did it, because she showed patience. I was about to say poise, which is kind of the same shit, but
yeah,
it's just patience and poise. No, but very patient with her striking, a well-rounded skill set, an aggressive opponent, which is even a girl that was looking to bring the fight. And I'll tell you, the way she finished the show was beautiful, because she started off making this girl think, man, and you saw her thinking, look, I don't want to get hit in the body again. That's when she went upstairs, and she put her out with a head kick, and she did it like she wasn't surprised. So I want to see what's next with that Bruna Brazil. I thought she was a delight.
Head kick is always enjoyable. I'm sure not to receive, but to watch.
Jimmy, this Trevor Peak, he's one of those guys. He's been through a lot in his life, and they saying he's a dog. Like, he went through different addictions that he had to overcome, and he was such a fighter. When he went to his first fight, his buddies would bring him to a fight. He thought he was going to have a street fight in a parking lot somewhere. He didn't know that it was an unsanctioned type of fight.
Right.
He went and he won, and it was no going back since then. So Trevor Peak is a real fucking like a real street guy, real tough guy, and he's a dog, and he needed that, because Malik Lewis, dude, the way this thing started off, Malik was putting it on him and even hurt him, and you're like, oh man, this could be stopped, because he had him up against the cage and he was landing, and then he's doing some dramatic shit with jumping knees. And I mean, if he would have ended it there, you're like, who the fuck is this guy? Because he was looking good.
Yeah.
But Jim, toughness, Jimmy. I don't like Jim.
Yeah.
I said Jim Flores.
Just call me sweetie.
Well, listen. No, I can't do it. Jimmy. Okay. Toughness, and not only toughness, endurance. That's another tool in the fucking in the arsenal. Like, that's another weapon in the arsenal. It really is. And that's what Trevor Peak showed. Toughness to withstand what he had to withstand, and the endurance. Because you can have toughness, but just have nothing in the lungs.
Right.
He took everything that Malik Lewis gave to him, and Malik Lewis gave him a lot. And he came back. He did a well-timed takedown off kind of a lazy back fist off of Lewis. Got him down and just showed a good ground game. It fought his way to Mount and half guard. And he was just beating him up. I think he finished it. Was it Mount? It was a ground and pound. Yes, ground and pound on Mount. And I think Lewis emptied the tank a little too early, but he looked good. It's not the last we're going to see Malik Lewis. I believe we'll see him again.
And Matt, before we cover the final two fights, our guest is here. If you want to get Chidi Njokuani in here, and then we can go with the final two fights.
Yes, because Aleskarov, how do you pronounce the Russian gentleman's name? Ikram
Aleskarov.
Aleskarov, really quick. Beautiful. Aleskarov. I like that. I like the way you did that for me, Jake. Jake. Hey, another thing Jake does. Look how he wrote his name. Aleskarov. I can say it now. Very good, Jake the Mighty Ginger. I'm liking this relationship. Anyway, Jimmy, what kind of savage am I? Just really quick. You know what? You're going to fuck around. What kind of savage am I?
A gentleman savage?
I'm a fucking Kimura savage.
Oh, I apologize. I forgot.
No, you know it. You do. I'm sorry, Jimmy.
It's okay.
I'm worked. I haven't rolled in a while, and I'm on espresso. This, I'll tell you, Aleskarov, beautiful fucking Kimura. If that's not a tap, if that's not a hey, you got me, that's a new shoulder. So Aleskarov, I fucking want to see him in the UFC. I can't wait. I'm happy. And we'll talk about that. I'm happy that he's in there. I'm happy that all of them got contracts. Remind me. Let's talk about the last fight after we talk to Chidi.
Yes.
Chidi, this is your first time talking to us.
Yes.
And hey man, we're happy to get to know you a little bit. So hey, listen, you're from Africa. Your parents like to spread it out a little bit, huh? Your brother's 11 years. Tell me.
He's 8 years older.
Oh, he's 8 years.
I got a sister that.
Yeah, it was 2011 he got to the UFC, right? He got 11 years ago he came into the UFC.
Sorry, that was my bad.
Now, growing up, was he a guy who would fight a lot and you're like, this is who I want to be like? Or how did it work out when you both pursued the same the same line of work?
No, my brother, I was a kid. So like when he put me in he signed up for fighting first, and he was doing it when he was like 18, I think. And then he brought me in it when I was like 10 years old. So I didn't really have much of a choice.
You just started training. What did you first start training in?
Muay Thai. I started Muay Thai when I was 10.
Was it something that like, were you using it? Like, did you grow up in an area where there was a lot of fighting, or did you just like training, or was it like, no, this is kind of necessary going to school?
I guess a little bit of everything. He wanted me to know how to defend myself, and it was kind of fun. Like, he did it as a hobby. We didn't expect to be fighters at all.
How long did it take you to realize that you were good at this, Chidi? Oh, I'm sorry, Chidi. Who's that?
No, we're good. My bad. That's my bad.
I mean, Chidi, how long did it take you to realize that you're gifted? I'm looking at your last 4 fights here, or 4 fights? KO first round, the last 2 fights, TKO, KO in the third round. I mean, I'm looking at all knockouts and TKOs. You got dynamite in these hands.
I've been punching and kicking since I was 10, you know?
Well, that's what it is. And what about the grappling? I mean, you're fighting Gregory Rodriguez, who, I mean, people like, man, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu and this and that, but he's also got those heavy hands. He kind of likes to go, he likes to do more of his, he likes to knock guys out also. He's not just that jiu-jitsu guy. But how is your grappling? And when did you start the grappling?
Shit. I mean, I did a little bit of grappling here and there back in maybe like around 2008-ish.
Oh, shit.
That's when I had a first MMA fight, but I didn't take it seriously until I moved to Vegas around like 2010, 2011. And low key, I didn't even take it seriously.
You did?
But I was in the gym a lot more often. But eventually, a few years ago, I started really taking it serious. And now, so I ended up getting my black belt under Sergio Pena. Oh,
wait a second. You're a black belt under Sergio Pena?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. what the fuck am I talking about? I should have known that. I know Sergio Pena. Sergio Pena is a good gentleman. And he's old school, man. He gives you that. You got that straight, solid for the street fight jiu-jitsu. I love that. You got to tell Professor Sergio Pena that I said hello.
Oh, I got you.
Hey, this change. Hey, Jimmy, this changes everything. You're talking to a guy just knocking guys out left and right. You are, but he hangs out with Sergio Pena when he's a black belt. Whoa.
Well, Chidi, what made you take it seriously? You said at first you kind of just dabbled a little bit. Did you come up against a grappler and you're like, oh, this is a problem. I have to learn how to do this.
I can't. It happened one too many times, man. I was just trying to get my ass on, bro. So it was like, fucking it. I might as well learn this shit. So like maybe 3 years ago, I think when I was a purple belt, I said, fuck it. I stayed in the gym a little more, started doing more jiu-jitsu, started doubling up, doing 2-a-days, and got my brown belt pretty quick. And then maybe a year or so, maybe 2 years after that, I got my black belt.
Was it like eating broccoli compared to the striking? You're like, well, you might like broccoli. Me, I don't like my vegetables. Was it like drinking your Robitussin? Or did you enjoy the process?
It was like eating broccoli with like a little bit of dog shit sprinkled on top of it.
So it was delicious. that improves broccoli.
That is so funny. You know what it is, Jimmy? If you don't enjoy it, like that's how I felt with the striking, to be honest. I don't have a reach like you, Chidi. I got little arms. I'm a little man. So, I mean, it's not like I can keep a guy at distance. I used to have to fight my way in, and I'm getting hit. I haven't sparred one day since I got done fighting. When you're done fighting, are you going to do jiu-jitsu for fun, or are you just like, nah, I'll just hit
I'm not sure. I was thinking about continuing to do it just so people don't whoop my ass. Yeah. But it's like right now, it's like pulling teeth going to the jiu-jitsu gym. But I mean, I'm a lot better at it now. So
isn't it easier now that you're good at it though, and you know what you're doing? It's got to be more fun to do when you're actually a black belt.
Yeah, it's a lot different. Like, cause going to you know how it is. You being a fighter, you go into the gym there. Everybody wants to whoop your ass. So I'm not getting any easy rolls and nothing like that. But you learn a lot and you learn fast.
You know what's so great about you having that in your back pocket is you're knocking guys out left and right, but it makes you more freeing with your strikes because, you know, they start getting lit up. They put you down. There's not really that much of a fear of it where you got a black, you've been down there, you put your time in down there. So it's not like, oh man, I can't. It doesn't keep you from pulling the trigger. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of guys that have the dynamite, but they're like, I can't unload because I'll get taken down, you know?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. That's why I started doing more jiu-jitsu. I wanted to be able to open up more of my striking.
100%.
And, it changed everything. Like there was fights back in the day. I'm going into the fight, and my coaches are telling me not to throw a kick. It's like, the fuck, like that's what I like to do. That's what I do. Right? I'm a kicker, but now it's like they're open for everything. And like, just go out there and do what you want and have fun.
And they're talking also about Dana talked about doing a UFC in Africa. I'm sure you would love to be on that card if that happens.
Yeah. I've never been to Africa, but yeah, that'd be dope.
You would, right? And where were you and your brother from?
Well, my family's from Nigeria, but my brother and my older sister, they were born out there, and then me and my other two sisters were born out in Dallas.
Oh, you're born down. Okay, so yeah. When your brother got into the UFC, did you think, hey, I will eventually get there, or did it seem like something that as years went on, you're like, nah, I think I can do this?
Yeah, it was more as years went on. Growing up, I thought he like the fighting stuff was exclusively for him. Like I thought I was just kind of doing it as a hobby, and he was gonna be like the real fighter and the only fighter in the family. And as I got older, I was like, oh shit, this is kind of possible. Like it might be something I can do too. And then I got a little more older, and it's like, oh shit, like, hey, if I keep training, I might be in the UFC soon. And so shit, here we are now, and now I'm trying to be a champion.
What does your brother think of this? Is he just whoa?
He loves it. It's dope. Yeah, it's dope because it's like after he got out, now I'm in and I'm kind of continuing the name, and he's still out there. We go to fights and they're asking for this motherfucker. It's like whatever. All right. It's pretty dope, man.
Now, what about outside of the cage? Are you person? Are you a married guy, single guy?
Nah, I'm single.
All right, listen, man, you got to make sure you keep your eye on the prize after this weekend when you start. I mean, more eyes are on you, and it could be a distraction with the waves of stuff coming at you. I'm not gonna say what stuff. This is a classy show. Now listen, it's a lot of. Are you living in Dallas now or Vegas?
I'm back and forth. I'm in Vegas for training for the most part, but I'm in Dallas now.
What do you like to do as a hobby, Chidi? What do you like to do when this? It does, and it has to. And I don't, it could be an active resting if you like to hike or this and that, but unrelated to training. What's your hobbies, buddy? What do you like to do? It could be anything from watching shows on Netflix, reading a book. Talk to me. Video games.
Yeah, a lot of the basic shit, all that shit, books, movies, video games. I skated a lot back in the day, skateboarded.
Oh, get out of here, really?
Yeah.
You ever break anything skateboarding?
No, but I rolled my ankles a lot, so it was like either fight or skate.
I walk through Washington Square Park. I'm in New York, and every day I walk through, there's guys trying to skateboard, and most of them are terrible. Like they just kind of stand on it and go fast, and then they jump off. How long does it take you to actually be able to do anything on a skateboard other than just kind of push and glide?
Oh no, we was actually doing shit like hitting big ass stairs and all that shit. I was trying to get sponsored at one point. So I skated. Yeah, I stopped fighting for a little bit and focused on skating a lot. But I was getting hurt way too damn much. So.
You were, right? Is it hard to make money with a skateboard too? It seems like it's a hard way to make a living.
I don't know. I never really got to that point, but it seems like it is. It's crazy.
Do you watch any other sports?
Yeah, I don't keep up with a lot of shit, but I'm from Dallas, I'm a Cowboys fan,
I'm from New Jersey. I'm a Cowboy fan. It's been a very painful 27 years. I don't watch anymore. I only watch UFC. I watch you guys. I can't really watch football anymore. And after the, 19-3 on Sunday, just, it's another shit year is coming.
Yeah, I can't even watch the highlights no more, man. It's disappointing. It hurts.
Let me ask you now, a fight's coming up that I'm sure you're going to be interested in. And it's the, the middleweight title versus, it's going to be Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you being such a devastating striker, what is your thoughts on that fight? You might be meeting one of those guys.
Right. That'll be dope.
Well, both of them.
That'll be dope.
What's your thoughts on that fight?
It's I don't know, but it's a crazy fight. Like Adesanya, he's pretty cold, but Pereira beat him twice. So, and then they keep talking about the fluffy gloves, and it's like the gloves are smaller now, and I don't know if that's in Adesanya's favor. But I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. I'm hoping to see Adesanya go in there and shoot for a double leg or something, and change it up a little bit.
Imagine that.
I'm like, yeah, I've been cold as hell. We'll see.
Whoever shoots first, that might be a pride thing. They might be like, ooh.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like fuck the pride, bro. Somebody shoot. Like change the shit up.
Especially if you know you got put to sleep.
Yeah.
With the 16-ounce gloves. Well, I don't know if they were 16. They were big though.
Probably 10 ounce.
Yeah, 10 ounce. But it's a big difference between fucking 4 ounce. Whatever, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, these things. You land with one of those, you're going to get decapitated, and he knows how hard he hits. It is going to be extremely interesting because Alex Pereira, he's answering the call when he's in there. He's been answering it, you know what I mean? Especially with a guy like Sean Strickland. Yeah. A wacky guy, but he can get, he took him out.
You wonder psychologically, what does that do to Adesanya too, because he's so dominant and he's not afraid of Costa. He's not afraid of anybody. But what psychology is it when did you ever fight anybody that you had previously lost to?
No. I've sparred people that I've lost to, but I've never fought anyone. I never had rematches.
Is there anything in your mind when you're sparring them, even in sparring, where like, I know this guy has beaten me?
Yeah, but even then, I'm like, fuck this guy, bro. I'll show you.
Okay, you want to show him how lucky he got the first time.
Yeah, fuck that. But it's like, he got lucky twice, though. So it's like, is it luck at this point?
lightning don't strike twice is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
But I didn't. In fairness, I seen the knockout, but I didn't see how the other one went. And
Yeah, neither did I. Yeah.
it wasn't a knockout, right?
I thought it was a decision.
No,
I
think
could be
it was
wrong.
a decision. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
So I remember him saying, "Did you watch the fights? Did you watch the fights?" So they might have been closer or else close to the last one. Which happened first, knockout or the other one?
I think the
I
decision
thought the
happened first,
decision,
and then the knockout was second.
That's not good. Because it's one thing if you got knocked out first and he came back and goes, "All right, well, I did better."
Yeah.
You know?
But no, that's the thing. Is a lot of shit plays
It's
into
exciting,
this.
man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And you're on a great card too. Sandhagen against Song Yadong is a great fight. And are you guys because the co-main is has been crossed out on my sheet. Are you guys the co-main?
Yeah, I think we got bumped up to the co-main.
That's nice. That's gotta feel great.
Yeah, dude.
That's nice.
I'm looking forward to this fight against
against
Gregory Rodriguez. You're really, really exciting to watch. But don't get up and piss because your fights tend to be over very quickly. So anyone watching this, I would say just make sure you stay and watch the whole fight. And it's great having you on, Chidi. Really, really good talking to you. And
thanks for having me, man.
we'd love to talk to you again when it's all over. And good luck on Saturday.
Yeah, thanks, man. I like the name change, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what Matt calls me. Matt calls me that, so I'm like, I might as well. honor it.
Oh, Big Daddy. Hey, Chidi, man, best of luck, bro.
Thank you. I'll tell Sergio you said what's up, man.
Oh, definitely. Please do. Please do.
Take care, bro.
Take care.
All right, thanks, man.
Have a good one.
Chidi Njokuani.
Before we get, I think we got Andre coming in soon.
Is Andre here? I know this is very disorganized, but that's me too. Because I'm here. I'm putting my glasses on like
Not
a
here yet.
7-year-old
Not
man.
here yet.
Oh, he's not here yet. Okay.
He's coming on soon. So let me finish up my talk.
Yes, sir.
Because I got done talking about Alex Skarov.
Yep.
You know why I'm saying his name right?
Yes, because he wrote it phonetically.
Jake the Mighty Ginger did the shit right for me.
Yep.
Damn, did I like that Kimura. Jimmy, the
Yes, man.
fucking Kimura. And I will do the test. I could cut glass with this nipple. I could go like one of those burglar movies where they're trying to get the diamond and then
Sure, yeah.
I could go with my nipple. I could go and just like poking it.
Is it cold where you are, or are you excited?
I'm excited, Jimmy. Stop being silly. That Kimura was a thing of beauty. Cause hey, dude, I'll tell you right now. When Alex Skarov, the guy Souza. Let me see here. What's his first name? Mario Paisan. No, Mario Souza from Brazil. he said he can still be my Paisan. He was, his striking.
Yeah.
He was looking nasty. So Alex Skarov was like, listen, man, I'm taking this limb off. What am I gonna do? Go toe to toe?
Sure.
With Mario Souza?
Now, did you
Mario
like the
Paisan
Kimura?
Souza? What's that?
Did you like the Kimura?
Now you just
Am I just being silly? Yeah.
You're being silly. And I like, it's good. You're a comedian. But Jimmy, the one fight I didn't talk about, and his brother fights in the UFC. And could you help me with the name? Farid Basharat. How's that?
Yeah.
Not bad?
Terrific.
You didn't even look at it. Boom. I like that Jake. The boom. That's right. I
That's
got it right. But I'll tell you right now, he looked great. He got it was not only 30-27, it was 30-26 on two of the cards. So it was a dominating performance over Alan Begaso. I think I killed that. But I think that's right. Bagoso. What is it? Bagoso.
Yeah.
Let's call the whole thing off. But anyway, he looked great. And listen, I'm excited. There's times I watch this Dana White Contender series, and I'm like, forgetting new talent, I fucking love it. And I like seeing these guys burst on the scene, and we're gonna know that way when I see them in the UFC, I'm like, oh, that's the guy I seen.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get Andre in here because I believe he's gonna be ready to go in a second.
I don't think he's here yet. Oh, he is here. Okay, good. Let's bring him right in. Yes. Why would I question you?
Go!
I'm stupid.
Sorry. Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
Jimmy. I just Kimura the man. I put his arm behind
That's
his
a
back.
long song too.
I held it there until he tapped.
Oh, no.
Jimmy,
Ah.
the fight has just begun.
Yep.
We get him in here, I'll stop. If we don't get him in here, I'll continue.
Yep.
You know, that was one of the hits. What else was there, huh? Which one? Huh? Chidi? We're just talking to Chidi. Come on, Chidi. Oh, you know what we need. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Smell a new one. Oh,
We
wait,
hear Andre. I think we hear you, but we don't see you.
Come on, Chidi. Oh, you know what we need. Let's get Andre in here because he's a real singer. Yes! That's a real fucking rock and roll grunge motherfucker right there. Not this guy. I'm just an old guy trying to be cool and hip and with it. But Andre's actually in a fucking band when they take their shirts off and they fucking bump into each other and all that shit. Right?
What did you do to rile him up like this, man?
It's
Matt's
always this way. This
We
is
have a
actually
good
Matt
vibe.
being very calm. He sings a lot.
He's on a
Sometimes he
sick one.
vapes on the show, so there's definitely
Oh,
drugs
shit.
involved. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm
Andre.
gonna go no headphones. Can I go no headphones?
Yeah, fuck it.
Okay, deal.
You don't need those cans on. Look at me.
Yeah, but you were when I first got on, you were saying that I'm a real musician or a real singer or whatever you said. You're giving me way too much credit, dude. I definitely do take my shirt off and jump around and yell and scream, but I don't know if I'm a real singer necessarily.
You, my friend, you are the lead singer of.
I don't do much
It's a
singing.
punk- Well, but you do yelling. Singing is weird. Listen, you don't. I do sing. You do more. I don't really do singing. I have a nice chorus. But anyway, listen. I do like parodies of songs that Jimmy just adores, and
I'm sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'll take a Queen song and I'll throw Kimura in it, and Jimmy's like, ooh. But
Yeah.
Andre, you do some shit where it's almost like talking, but then it's like you're up there. Can you give us a little something? Like, I seen some of your shit, and I can't even.
I'm not gonna belt it out, but I will say. So I will say this. Say this. I'm really excited because there is the punk scene is very small. Most people know most people who are doing shit, and I'm not, as far as musically, I'm not in the punk scene. I'm whatever, but because I have a decent name from fighting, and because I support a lot of bands, I've made a lot of friends in that scene. And so one of my friends, I have a bunch of friends in a band called Code Orange, and they were just a hardcore band from Philly. And they have grown into being Grammy nominated, like badass, legitimate. Like they do songs for the soundtrack of the WWE video games. They're nominated for a Grammy. They're fucking incredible. And so through those guys, my buddies in Code Orange, I met and have been talking to a producer named Will Yip, who is a Grammy nominated producer. Basically everything that is cool in hard music, like punk music or hand in. Everything that's been cool for the past 5 or 10 years, he's done. He's produced. There's a band called Title Fight. It's my favorite band ever. He produced their album. Long story short, he like from friend to friend and Instagram conversation. He just dropped 2 songs and he's producing it. So I have a Grammy nominated producer producing my music at this point, and it doesn't make any fucking sense to me because I'm sending him my music like, hey man, sorry if it sucks, like I don't really know what I'm doing. And he's like, no, this is sick, man, I'm stoked to work on it, like I'm gonna kill for you guys. Like he's excited. I'm like, in my head I'm like, is this a prank? Like how can you be excited? I'm not, it's just I've tricked myself. I've like tricked people into thinking that I actually am doing something. And so now I have a Grammy nominated producer working on my music, and I'm like, fucking just when you sneak into a building and you're not supposed to be there, but you just play it cool, you just like pretend like I'm supposed to be here. That's what I've done with music, and that's what I've done with basically everything.
It's like being backstage at a concert. I'm always waiting to walk into the wrong hallway. Like, I don't know, your pass doesn't get you back here. There's that humiliating feeling of being escorted back to the shit area.
Yeah, you just play it cool. You just pretend like, I'm for sure supposed to be here. Like I really what I am is a professional fighter screaming into a microphone, not knowing what he's doing. But oh yeah, sure, you're a Grammy nominated producer. Yeah, yeah, sure, I would love to work with you. Yeah. Oh, you're excited to do it? Fuck, that's even cooler. Like, I don't know how we got here, but yeah, man, it's really cool. I've been able to meet a lot of really amazing people and really good friends through the punk scene, and it's a cool thing, man. It's cool to be able to work with guys who are like the top of their thing. You know, like we're the top of this thing and top of our field and our craft, and it's cool to work with guys at the top of their craft. And everything I do, I want to stand on its own. Like I don't want to make music that people hear. I don't want people to hear my music and go, yeah, you know, it's good for a fighter. Like I want to put my music in a playlist of other stuff that's like it, and have people just not be a song that people skip. Like I want my music to be good for music. Just like I just did my first stand-up comedy set.
Yes.
Just like fuck it and try. Yeah, and they were asking me like, oh, do you want us to write a couple jokes for you? Do you want us to help you through it? Like, do you want to write, like, I got some MMA jokes. I'm like, dude, I don't want to talk about MMA at all. Like, I don't want to be I don't want to be a gimmick. Like, if I go do stand-up comedy, I want it to be funny on its own, like to stand on its own and be funny for funny's sake, not some fucking gimmick where it's like, here's a fighter making fighter jokes. Like, no, I want to make motherfuckers laugh because I'm funny. You know what I mean?
What did you talk about? Like when you start, what did you, when you were opening them, not like what were the jokes, but what did you talk about?
No, right. Well, my first initial set that I wrote out was like very dark because that's my sense of humor, and they basically had to be like, look, dude, you can't joke about killing yourself and shit. Like, it's suicide prevention month. You can't be self, like, not strictly that. Obviously I'm joking, but they're like this is a little dark, you can't fucking say this or say that. And I was like, I'll reel it in a little bit, it's my first time, I'll reel it in a little bit, but I'm building up to the dark shit. I joke about how I made jokes. Well, I talked about fighting for about 30 seconds, just like as an introduction, and then I talked about how I don't shit if anybody else laughs loud because I'm with the same girl for 6 years, and she's like 5.5 years past laughing at anything I say. So I'm comfortable making jokes that motherfuckers don't laugh at, you know. So I just started with that. I just made jokes I just talked about relationship stuff. I talked about being with the girl I've been with for 6 years. I talked about a lot. I actually don't really remember, honestly. I just kind of riffed, dude. Like I had a layout in my phone, and I set my phone on the stool, and I was like, okay, I'll check back on it. And then I woke back up, and it had been 11 minutes, and I was like, oh fuck, that's it. All right, then, like I just kind of let it ride, man, and I got a pretty good reaction.
Well,
did you tape it? So I'm sorry, Matt.
Jimmy,
do you video it or audio?
Jimmy, I wanted to let you know it's Adam Hunter's UFC.
Yeah, it's on.
It was on Adam's show. Okay, there you
go.
No,
it's Adam Hunter's UFC.
Yeah, it's on Fight Pass.
Comedy Jam 2 on UFC Fight Pass. So if anybody wants to watch this, go to
it's
UFC
on Fight Pass. If you guys want to check it out.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
You looked from what I seen.
And you guys are both funny dudes, so.
Thank you.
Jimmy's a professional. As I said,
you disappeared, Andre.
You disappeared once I said you were a professional. Andre, yeah.
That was the last straw. He's like, fuck this.
Jake, what happened to our guest?
He'll come out. He had a little Wi-Fi was a little in and out.
Hey, he looked very comfortable on there from what I seen.
Yeah.
And I'm impressed he wrote his own shit.
Yeah.
That's nice. I thought he got it written for him. The other guys had it written for him.
No.
Hey, Andre, where are you? We don't see you.
Can you see me?
No.
Can you see me?
Press start video or whatever that says.
I can see.
I'm not the.
I can see and I can start. I can see and hear you guys both.
Wow. You see where it says the video? Stop video. There you go. You're back. Up.
Yeah.
Now I'm. Something happened to me.
What the fuck is happening?
What happened to you guys?
You are sharing screen. All right.
I'm
always nervous about that. There you go. Now you're gone.
You're back.
There you are.
Dude, am I here? Am I there?
Yes. You listen.
Okay, I'm in New York, and the Wi-Fi is terrible, so I apologize.
That's okay. They probably do that so you gamble.
Yeah, of course. Hey,
yeah.
Andre, you wrote your own material.
Yeah, always.
That's fucking awesome. Nobody else did. I guarantee it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
And anybody else? And I love Frankie and Sarah McMahon, but did they write their own stuff?
I think Sarah wrote hers. I don't know if Frankie did. But you know, everybody's different, man. Like I think everybody did a great job. For me, I just wanted to everything I do, man, whether it's like music or comedy or whatever, like I wanted to stay on its own. Like I want to be the best fighter in the world. I will be the UFC featherweight champion in the world. That mentality I take to everything else, where it's like, if I'm going to do stand-up, like I want to be fucking funny. Like I'm going to be funny or I'm not, but it's going to be me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to be, I'm not going to not be funny with somebody else's jokes. Like, so man, it was crazy too, because, you know, I have this kind of habit of just like rolling with stuff. Like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. So I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it. And then I didn't want to, like, I said, I agreed to it. And then like, you make plans and then the plans come up and it's time to go do the plans. And you're like, I just kind of want to fucking stay home. I didn't really want to do the thing, but I rolled with it and I got there and everybody else was like practicing and shit. And I'm like, fuck, I better, my fucking jokes aren't even completely written out. Like it's fucking day of the show. I'm like, I better pull something together. And then, dude, and then I expected it to be like a couple people, dude, it was 300 fucking people. It was like, they sold the place out. It was like standing room only. I'm like, I walk out there, I'm like, oh, I walk on stage like, fuck, I really got myself into it this time, you know, but I just had fun, man. And I think I did like 7 minutes.
That New York Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's very bad.
You know?
Jake, see if you can connect with him and see if you can get up. There he is again. Okay.
Fuck yeah. Nope, now we don't hear him. We don't hear you, Andre.
Yeah, we only have video.
I'm sorry, guys. The Wi-Fi is terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's not your fault, man. Yeah, we should promote the fact that you're fighting Bill Algeo on Saturday night too.
Yeah, I am winning a fist fight Saturday night, so that'll be fun. I'm really excited to get in there, and I'm excited to get in there and just flow and perform. You know, my last one didn't go how I wanted to. I got clipped early. I didn't go out. I felt fine. Like it's one of those ones I got clipped, and Herb Dean jumped in, and I stood up and like I just looked at my corner. I literally the first thing I did, I was got clipped. Everything was a float. You know, he landed a good shot. Everything was like everything was like a you know when the Tasmanian devil spins and it's like arms and fucking feet everywhere. Like it was all chaos. It was chaos for 20 seconds, and then the ref pulled us off, and I just like guys. Fine, but whatever. So it was almost like I did all the work of a fight camp, but I didn't actually get to fucking go perform. You know, it's like,
right.
I didn't even get a real fight. So I'm excited to get that out. I'm excited to get in that cage and move and flow and land my shots and talk a little bit of shit and have fun. And I'm excited to really go get in a fist fight, you know, because I didn't get to do that last time. So I'm excited to go do that. I got a lot of shit to prove still. So I'm excited, man.
You know how jealous I am that you could to deal with hecklers. Like to be able to strangle somebody or throw a kick at their face. God, would I love to have those skills. You're very lucky.
Yeah, but you guys get to emotionally scar. Like a good comedian can really fucking shut a heckler down and send them home with like I've seen some comedians just ruin hecklers, like send them home with the kind of scars that don't heal, dude. Like
yes, but I would also like to kick them. Like I would like to do that and then strangle them.
Yeah, both.
Imagine, if you will, that Chris Rock knew Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And after that smack, he jumped on his back and he got Will Smith. Right. Who's the Fresh Prince now, cocksucker? Fuck you. Fuck Jada. Jada's a pig.
Anyway. Here's the thing, man. That's such a crazy thing because like that shows even these famous people who are like, doesn't matter, famous, not famous, whatever. Like, most men are terrified of physical confrontation and like don't know how to handle it well. And to watch, like, I don't give a fuck if we're at the Oscars or the fucking Grammys or the this or the that, whatever. Like, if another grown man even approaches you in that way, like he might slap you, you got to fight. If he actually puts his hands on you, you have, like, I don't give a fuck if you're hosting, like, you gotta swing back at least. You got to do something, right? Like, I respect the way that Chris Rock played that off, but there's not a situation where anybody slaps me and we just like laugh it off. Like, we're gonna fucking fist fight.
Do you know why I think that he let him slap him though? The reason like the slap happened because Chris almost leaned forward a little bit, and I think they're all actors, and it's incomprehensible to Chris in that moment that he's actually going to get slapped. He's thinking that Will Smith is probably doing some fun. I'm going to pretend to be mad about that mild joke, and I think it just took him off guard. And he was shocked that it happened. But yeah, it was humiliating. But I think he thought that it was going to be like a bit that they did or something.
Jimmy, you ever see Dune?
Right.
You ever see fucking Dune?
No.
This
the
is
new. I saw the new one.
You did see the new one. Did you like it?
The new one's so good, dude.
I loved it. Good. Jimmy, you
so
cocksucker. I've been telling you forever to watch this movie. Andre Fili's backing me up.
It's so good.
If Andre likes it, I'll watch it.
Hey,
Dune.
You fight.
Dune. The new Batman. How'd you like the new Batman?
I love the new Batman too.
New Batman.
But back to Dune really
it's so
quick.
fucking good.
There's lines in this from Josh Brolin that you could put the fighting when he's going to train Paul Atreides. Paul Atreides ain't in the mood. Tell me a story. Instead, I'm not in the mood. You know what he says to him, Josh Brolin? He says, you fight when the necessity arises, no matter the mood. No matter the mood, young Paul Atreides. Fuck yeah.
I love that.
That's a good That's a good fucking movie. That's
a good movie, man.
Fucking good movie, man.
And they set it up perfect. It was the perfect mix of building up because it's obviously going to be a fucking sequel, trilogy, whatever. Yes. They gave you enough so that it could stand on its own, but you want more. You fucking still want more.
That scene that I just told you about. It was more. It is better. It was moving. It was inspirational. I love that shit.
Fucking great. Yeah, it was epic. It was a big epic fucking movie. It was beautiful. Hey, you know what? Before I forget, you know what you were right about?
Tell me,
dude. That fucking Harley Quinn show is so goddamn good, dude.
It's funny.
So good.
I didn't watch
it's
the new
hilarious.
season.
Dude, it's hilarious. You got me on it, and I started watching it just like you told me a long time ago. And I was like, it's not for me. And I started watching it. I'm like, dude, not only is this hilarious, like if you never watched anything comic book related, it's fucking hilarious. The second thing is you can tell the people who wrote it, they love those characters. Like because they're so ass backwards from what they're supposed to be. Like Bane is like this little pissy, like petty dude, and Bruce Wayne is like all insecure and needy. Like they do these characters in ways that it shouldn't work, but you can tell it works because they fucking know the characters. It's done. It's perfect, dude. It's a perfect show.
It's not for children. It's obviously not for
children. It's not. It's like
Jimmy. A lot of sexual innuendos there.
Yeah.
Where is it shown?
It's good.
HBO
Max.
Okay.
So
which, if you like animation, HBO Max is the one because they have all the Warner Brothers DC shit, and obviously Marvel has better big budget AAA live action. Like the Marvel movies are better than DC movies, except for live action. But everything else, I think DC does better. DC has like this whole adult animation thing, like this. It's crazy. They have like dozens of movies, hundreds of shows. Like if you're a fucking nerd and you're into that, HBO Max is that spot, dude.
I like that they have the DC because I'm more of a Marvel guy character-wise. I like some certain characters I grew up with, but DC embraces being a little different. They go places that they know that this might not end up on a Happy Meal, like that Harley Quinn show. Very dark. Yeah. They talk about fucking sizzling and different things. And it's fucking crazy. But
shit that you'll never get from Marvel. You'll never get that from Marvel. Yeah.
No, it's very and they're not just doing it to be like politically correct or diverse or like, you know what I mean? They're not doing it just to include everybody. Yeah. They're talking about different type of things that are just being funny. It's fucking. I think they get away with that more because it's a cartoon.
It's funny, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like South Park. They get away.
Yeah, I also think like for sure. Yeah, and I think you actually touched on a deeper thing too, where there's this big push for inclusivity, which is good. It's important, right? Like, there's a big push for inclusivity, but a lot of times you see, and Marvel's probably guilty of this, you see people do it in this like ham-fisted, like heavy-handed way where they just go like, they'll just do something that's an obvious cash grab, or they're just doing it because it's arbitrary. It's like they're doing it because they want you to know, hey, we're inclusive. Whereas like this show is actually inclusive in a meaningful way, and it's fucking funny and it's good. They're not just like, like how many times you see Marvel just go like, okay, well, yeah, this character's gay now. We're doing that because we have to. No, DC is like, here's two. The lead characters are two gay women. It's fucking hilarious. It's done perfectly, and it actually is me. It's actually done in a meaningful way, and to me, that's like way more rad than some fucking cash grab. Like you see these companies that just like they do it in such a way that you're like, man, they're just obviously virtue signaling. Where like DC is really doing this thing that's fucking cool. It's inclusive in a way that's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's fucking rad. I think that's sick.
Speaking of DC, I got one question for you before we let you go. This is a hard one, and I'm going to give you my answer afterwards. But the Dark Knight or the new Batman movie, The Batman, which one do you prefer?
It's hard to go. So I would have said The Dark Knight, I think, but I had a conversation with Joe Benavidez, who's a movie guy. Like that guy fucking knows movies. He's incredible. He's got a movie podcast he does now and shit. That's like his main focus after retirement for writing. You want to talk movies? Joe B's the guy. So, but he made a point where he said The Dark Knight isn't really a Batman movie. It's a fucking Joker movie. Like it's Heath Ledger's Joker. It's kind of his movie, right? And it makes you look at it differently. I think. I don't know, man. I know how classic Dark Knight is, and I think it's maybe a better movie. Like if I had to recommend just to go watch a movie, maybe that's the movie. But I'm gonna say new Batman because it's setting up like it's a better all around Batman movie.
You know
what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yes. You know what's more of a fair question, I guess, is it's kind of more of his origin story. So is it Batman would be a better question would be the Batman or Batman Begins, which was also a very good movie.
Batman, I think Batman Begins is super, super underrated. Batman Begins is fucking. But you know what? You know the new Batman, and I think this is the only piece missing from the Christopher Nolan movies. The new Batman, what it did better than any other Batman is the fight scenes. The fight scenes in the Christopher Nolan, are terrible.
It's
dude.
so true.
I mean, they're bad. They're bad.
Man, I can hang out with you every week, Andre. Listen to me. I agree.
Mutual.
And listen, dude, I was very there's certain scenes in The Dark Knight that they're just undeniable. They're so good with the Joker and Heath Ledger, even Michael J. White. Even Michael J. White with Enough from the Clown and all that shit was great. I love the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a review of a comparison from comedian Chris D'Elia. You know Chris D'Elia?
Yeah.
You ever heard of him? So I seen him talk about both movies. And he was shitting on The Dark Knight. I go, how dare you? But he said one scene. And he said one scene that something happened. And when he showed it, I go, holy fuck. He just definitely turned me more to the Batman. When Batman shows up in The Dark Knight, right? There's a bunch of the fake Batmans. You think, what is this? When they're in that parking garage. And also Batman shows up and he takes the gun rifle and he bends it like it's made of fucking silly putty. Like he bends the nozzle.
The barrel.
Barrel and a fucking nozzle. I don't know what that means. But he bends the barrel like he's fucking Superman.
What the
fuck? D'Elia was right. That was fucking horrible.
Yeah.
No, and the fight
scenes so. The fight scenes are terrible. Joe B said this, and I was like, I was not on board. But the longer I thought about it, the more I thought like Dark Knight. I think it's an incredible movie. And there's some incredible scenes, but it's Heath Ledger's movie. It's a Joker movie more than it's a Batman movie. And I think it's one of those things. You know, he also said this. I'll say this as a comparison because I'm a Daniel Day-Lewis is my favorite actor. I have Bill the Butcher tattooed on my leg because I love Daniel Day-Lewis. I love Daniel Day-Lewis. I was gonna get Daniel Plainview from There Will Be Blood, which is my favorite movie, but I love Daniel Day-Lewis. And Joe B was saying, I think it was Joe B was saying, Gangs of New York isn't that good of a movie. He loves Scorsese, but he's like, Gangs of New York isn't that good of a movie. You just think it's a good movie because you love Bill the Butcher, and because Daniel Day-Lewis as Bill the Butcher is fucking like in a not movie. And he said that's the same thing as The Dark Knight. If The Dark Knight didn't have Heath Ledger's Joker, you wouldn't say it's an incredible movie. And I'm like, well, fuck, you just fucked me up there. And the more I think about it, the more I begrudgingly think he's right. You know what I mean? Whereas really there's not a weak part of the new Batman. The only thing I will say, last thing, I know we're nerding out here. We probably just lost half your fucking audience, but fuck them. He's kind of swayed me, right? Like a great character in an okay movie, whereas the whole new Batman, I think everything fit perfectly. The Penguin, the way they did the Penguin, dude. I didn't when the new Batman credits rolled and they said I can see his face. Who played Penguin? Colin Farrell. Said, I was so into the movie when they said Colin Farrell's name in the credits. I said, who the fuck was Colin Farrell? And I was like, oh my god, he was the Penguin. Like they did such a good job with that dude.
That's unrecognizable. And did you see the missing scene? Speaking of being a geek, there's a missing scene with the Joker. In jail, which it was very good. It was almost like a take on when the police would go to a real serial killer like Ted Bundy for help.
I wish they left it in. Yeah,
it was exactly like that. I wish they left that in because spoilers with that scene with the Joker at the end in the jail cell and the friends, and it felt a little weird. It felt it was
out
cool,
of place,
a little out of place. Yeah. But with that other scene in it, it would have made
more context. Yeah, agreed.
Fuck yeah.
The last thing I'll say on this nerd rant is the criticism that everybody has about, or not that everybody, the criticism that I heard the most was that Paul Dano's Riddler was like kind of like not charismatic enough or not likable enough. And my whole thing was like, no, that's not Paul Dano doing it wrong. That's Paul Dano doing it perfect. Like you have
you had what?
Reddit, 4chan.
We're losing you. No. Wait.
Yo.
Go ahead. Now go.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm saying everyone said Paul Dano's Riddler was not charismatic enough. I'm like, no, it's perfect. Like, you think a guy who's locked in his mom's basement on fucking Reddit and 4chan and conspiracy theories and rounding up fucking urban terrorists and plotting to kill politicians, like, you think that guy's gonna be like a smooth, cool? No, like that guy's gonna be a fucking weird, cringy, like abrasive. Like, dude, Paul Dano played that perfectly. Like, and he played it so well that people were like, well, like they wanted Tom Hardy's Bane, or they wanted Heath Ledger's Joker. But like, no, this is what it looks like when a domestic terrorist who's locked in his mom's basement and is on the internet too much is in public. Like, this is what it looks like. You know what I mean? Like, he was perfect. I thought he was perfect.
100% total creep. All right.
Total creep. Yeah.
Hey, Andre, listen, man.
Yes.
You brought your own movie talk thing. I'm with you, bro. We'll do something. I love it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. But
thank you for coming, man. Yes.
Have fun this weekend, man. We're going to be watching.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you, man.
All right, pal. We'll talk to you again soon, all right?
All right, Andre.
Yep.
Thanks, Andre.
Take care, brother.
Bye.
That was fun.
Yes. I got to wrap up because I have to go back downtown to tape something else.
Okay. All right. We're going to say goodbye.
Loved it. Yeah. Thank you to Chidi, and thanks. Andre Fili is a great guest, always.
Yeah. Guys, you want to plug anything, Jimmy, before we go?
Tonight, I'm going to be Wednesday night. I'll be at the Fat Black Pussycat doing my hour every Wednesday this month. And then at the end of the month, the 23rd, 24th, I'll be in Minneapolis, my first time at the Acme Comedy Club. Great club. SarahBJJ.com. Okay. Got a big sale coming up. If you're in Huntington, Long Island, or anywhere near there, get your training on. Come visit me. I'm always there. I'll be there later. All right, everybody. We will see you soon. And all the fights this weekend, really quick. Yep. Saturday night. It's Sanhagen against Song Yadong. And of course, Chidi and Njokuani is the co-main. Hold on, I'm losing my fucking paper against Gregory Rodriguez. It's a great co-main. They were just moved up into the co-main. So yeah, definitely watch this weekend, this Saturday night. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Over the weekend. Yes. Bye, guys.